Hi, Carlos.
Hello, hello.
Let me use my headphones because I've just arrived to the parking lot and I'm walking to.
To the uni,
Can you
right?
hear? Yeah, well, it's a parking lot at the uni, but it's. Let me grab my bag and I will show you the way because it's in the entrance of the university. There is a parking lot, and then you have to walk to the university building.
Hmm. Okay.
And oh my God. And they have these offices, these spaces for students, mainly for those who are studying uh, um, the blended program
Okay.
that have to do two. I believe it's 2 times a week. They call it estancia. I don't know how to say that,
Estancia. I'm not
but
sure.
but
Hmm.
it's like okay, you're studying online, but uh, 1 or 2 times a week I can. Espérame, no apagué el coche. No mames. No, sí, sí lo apagué. Twice a year, I believe, they they have to come, and so they stay here.
Okay.
The university has some commodities,
Okay. So then it's like a residency.
residence exactly.
I mean, in the
But
academic realm.
yeah, so they have the residency, but they have this building with offices with big screens and whiteboards and
Okay.
everything that one might need to study. So let me show you. Oh, I I have been warned that you are recording this conversation, so I be careful to what I say.
Yeah. Um,
So this is a
Nothing
parking lot.
incriminating. Yeah. All
This
right.
is a parking lot.
Hmm.
So um, there you pay. Um, then now I'm gonna walk you through.
Hmm.
But how is it going? This lady didn't reply.
Oh wow. Not
She
not
she
even right.
no. She read it, but she didn't
Uh-huh.
reply. So I'm started. I'm starting to get worried. I'm starting to get in, or
I'm starting to get worried. Hmm.
I'm starting to get worried because I mean, even if she's waiting for our references to check our references,
Yeah, sure.
it would be nice, like a kind message of, oh, I'm glad you like the place. I'm sure everything will be all right. I will let you know tomorrow. Something like
Hmm.
that, you know?
Sure, sure, sure.
But but I don't know why I feel that something was off. I mean, we were charming, we were delightful. The kids behaved amazingly well. Uh, I mean, they were kids. They were jumping around and everything, but I didn't have to scold them or anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she was like, "Oh no, let's check the dates and maybe I can even let you come a little bit earlier, or uh, let's meet on Sunday so you can see it with daylight." So I don't know. It's something is tough because if the only thing if the only thing missing for her to be fully convinced uh, what is are the references. Uh, Um, I mean, a kind reply wouldn't hurt,
Hmm.
but
Okay, yeah.
wouldn't have hurt. But uh, I'm not sure if she maybe she's thinking, okay, these guys they really need to see the apartment with daylight before they rent because maybe at the end they say, oh no no, we actually didn't like it. I don't know.
Hmm.
It was weird because she I sensed that she's a very it's not insecure, suspicious woman. You know that
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
Like,
that the even though she might have felt a connection with us, like oh they are Latin people, they seem nice, but she's still very rational, very cautious. Like okay, you seem good. So maybe now that I think aloud, I'm thinking it out loud. It's
mhm.
amazing how I think better when I spoke out loud. It's amazing. Now that I'm thinking it out loud, uh, maybe we tried to appeal to her emotional side with the message, and she's very rational. She was like, "Okay,
Okay.
you are not going to sweet talk me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sweet talk to me or sweet talk me.
Sweet talk me. Yeah.
You're not going to sweet talk me. So let's wait and see what's happened.
Hmm.
What and see. Let's wait and we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know, but I
Sure.
feel I feel nervous because it's really Carlos. It's a great. The location is amazing. Every time I pass through that building, I was like, this is the best location because you are in exactly living in the corner of the one of the main bus exchanges. So it's like you don't even need a car.
Hmm.
Every bus that gets here is like a cab for you. And well, this is the building where the these offices. Well, there are classrooms here,
Uh-huh.
but there are also the offices where that the university allow you to use.
Hmm. Oh, I lost you there for a second.
You're welcome. Um,
Yeah.
are you here with me?
Yeah. It cut
Ah,
just for a bit, but I'm back.
because I think it it detected the no, I lost the Wi-Fi. Let me see what's happened. Well, what was I telling you?
Yeah, you were just showing me the building outside the offices.
Can you see the building now?
Hmm. Looks very nice.
Mm. Uh, I lost my train of thought.
Uh-huh. Well, before that,
I'm gonna lose you for a couple of seconds.
okay, okay.
Are you back with me?
Right here.
Okay.
And I think I lost you there for a second.
Are you still with me?
100%.
Uh, I think I lost you for a moment.
We disconnected actually.
Oh, what are you having breakfast?
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm late because I didn't wake up early, so I had back-to-back lessons and I
Uh-huh.
had like a short break. So I made an egg burrito.
An egg burrito. Oh, that I really like those. With have you tried Velveeta cheese?
I don't think I've ever heard of
Oh,
something called
you can
Velveeta cheese.
if you can find it and make scrambled eggs
Velveeta.
with Velveeta cheese with double
Uh-huh.
E Velveeta.
Uh-huh.
If you if,
Velveeta.
if you find it and you prepare scrambled eggs with Velveeta cheese and you prepare a burrito, oh
Hmm,
my
hmm.
God.
All right.
Oh my God. That's that's really the experience.
Yeah, okay. All right. Sounds great.
Just give me one moment. I'm going to connect to the in the computer.
Mhm.
Let
Is
me
that where
see
you
this.
normally, is that where we normally have a chat when you're at university? Is it like what place is that exactly?
The breakout room
Okay.
223. What I like to call my office.
Right.
Let me. But I didn't show it to you. Ah, no, because we lost connection. You're
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Let me. How can I do this? Okay. Here's the big screen,
Hmm.
the whiteboard,
All right.
table, and the view.
Hmm.
Let
It's
me
almost
open my
exactly
computer.
like it's almost exactly like the breakout rooms where I teach at Bridgestone.
Oh,
About the same size, same shape of a table,
it's like being in
screen.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, almost.
Are you a Harry Potter fan?
Not really, no. I think
O- Okay,
I mean I've
I
watched all the I think I've watched all the movies. The thing is I've never watched them like trying to watch them. Like I just like found myself watching them because I watched the first three in the movies with my sister because she's a huge Harry Potter fan. Um
well, that's a deal breaker for me. So I think this relationship is going nowhere.
is going nowhere. We can't move forward. I read the first book. As I mentioned, I watched the first three movies in the theaters, like when they came out.
Uh-huh.
And then I just got lost in many other things. And by the time I think it's like the seventh movie was coming out, again I watched it in theaters with my sister. I think I watched like the last two movies, like seven and eight, in the theater with my sister, having no idea what the hell had happened. Um,
But the seventh part one or the oh wait
mhm.
now I can hear you.
Yeah,
The seven movie part one or part two?
both of them, like part one and part two. I saw both of them in the theater when they came out, and it
Okay.
was like it was a weird experience because the theater was like rumbling with excitement, particularly with the last one, the very last one. And everyone was dying like on screen. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? Um, and why should I care about them? So it was a very watered down experience. Mm. I have since watched like the remaining movies, like the ones in between, the ones I missed, like four, five, six. So I have a better grasp of the characters and the storyline.
For me, definitely the better one is the fifth movie.
The
The
fifth one,
¿cómo se dice? ¿Cáliz the goblet of fire or
Goblet
the
of Fire. Okay.
goblet of fire?
Yeah. Um,
Okay, let's talk business. Oh, I lost you. Why? Yeah,
it
your mic
disconnected.
now. Um,
Um, yeah.
let's talk business. So, what shall we address today? I might be meet.
Do you do you have any I mean just personal curiosity, do you have any news on the whole ordeal with the uni?
Uh,
I mean,
yeah. Oh, let me share with you that gossip, and then we can. Uh,
yeah,
but I beg you act as if you were a pain in the ass because
gotcha.
I'm really I'm getting used to use words that I know make me more fluent but
Hmm.
less accurate, and I
Okay.
don't want because as you mentioned this in our early sessions when we were talking about Anna,
Uh-huh.
and you used the term fossilized mistakes. Well, am I correct? Well, it was fossilized, but I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
said
Yeah,
mistakes.
fossilized
So
mistakes.
I don't want that to happen to me because it's something like I'm not gonna. It's not gonna. It's going to. That kind of thing that I don't want happening to me.
Okay, sure.
I as well came to the realization that I need to speak uh, at a slower pace at a slower pace because if I try to keep up with the pace at which would I would talk in Spanish, I'm definitely still not in that place.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's good because talking slowly, speaking slowly, and
Hmm.
without another pitch on is another pitch
No.
or
Pitch is
well, how
the
do you how do you
pitch,
say
pitch is the
registro?
intonation. Yeah, register. But what do you mean
Register
by register? Because
because I feel that you know that English is more nasal, right?
oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
And
Mm,
but I want to talk with my lungs, like not in a way that feels different, that as if I am doing it on purpose, deliberately. Just
hmm.
get used to build the habit of stop talking with my nose as I already do, because it feels as if I am trying to. How can I explain this? Do you remember when we talked about Anna's tone, Anna's inflection? That when
As
she feels
inflection,
more
yeah.
insecure, she tightens her
Hmm.
tone, and when she feels more secure, so I feel as if I doing the same
Yeah, yeah.
because English is nasal, and I feel insecure in English. So I want to start talking with my Spanish voice, like from this part in English. So I noticed that the the respiration, for instance, when I go to a karaoke bar or if I talk too much, I need my asthma medicine because
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't
Okay.
pause. I don't,
Sure, sure,
so
sure.
like I don't I would I'd like to avoid repeating those vicious patterns in my English. I
Okay.
don't know if that
Understand.
I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, let's go over that. One, as we, and I've just remembered that, I just remember that I haven't done the five strengths test because I was going to mention that, just
Ah,
now.
you did it.
No, I haven't, and that's the thing. I've just
Ah,
remembered about it. You just
ah,
reminded me about it. Uh, because yeah, mm, for example, I'll just give you a quick example. Um, mm, for example, when you used just now, you used the word respiration, but respiration is more of a like a biological a universally biological process where plants respirate. Mhm.
It's breathing, what I wanted to say.
And
Breathing.
then animals breathe. Hmm. Because plants don't breathe, but they still respirate. They still go through a process of respiration. Um, so yeah, I think that's what you're going for. Like um, like I'll play as the goalie, the goalkeeper, and just catch all these words.
Okay.
While I understand the intention of like aiming high, a few of them will not make sense because they don't translate adequately from well, like while they do exist and are used in somewhat of the same context, they won't match exactly. So that's one example. Mm.
But are
And
you
as
planning to be
for
like Eugenio Derbez? Córtale, mi chavo, every time I
yeah, 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 exactly. That's one of the well, one of the characters I have a hard time remembering actually. Like I would not mention that one if you were quizzing me. Mm, as per the as per the thing with the register, yes, register. The funny thing is that with the word register,
Mhm.
um, of course, if we're talking like about your range, right? Maybe like musically, register would be fairly obvious. But then what's interesting at when we talk about linguistics, when you refer to register, you're actually referring to the level of formality. But I do understand what you're saying. So you want to work on the register of your voice, uh-huh, and not the register of your speaking, because that would be something else. Well, speaking just in the sense of the register um of your vocabulary or the register of your Lexis, maybe. Mm, well, that's something I've barely noticed, but yeah, I think that maybe some breathing exercises. Um,
That sounds like a good idea.
yeah, because I've noticed that as well. I can go very high in my register, and I usually do when I'm in a class, more so face to face, and I'll go to like the 10th degree if I'm in a room with a class, like with a group. So I find myself being like very high, like speaking almost through my head.
Hmm.
And and yet,
Yes, you get me.
yeah, and yet
Exactly.
I've found that I'm able to manage in situations where what's funny is that I naturally can go down to like a lower register when I feel extremely nervous. So if
Ah,
like I
it's the opposite.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
To a certain degree, it's like my emotions are overpowering, and at the moment when I start the meeting, it just becomes unbearable, and I kind of collapse. And the only thing I can like I'm left doing is just like it's almost like the poles of that spectrum are like when I'm in a classroom, I inflate like my persona, but then I kind of like become quite smaller when I'm in like a business type meeting. I don't think I convey that in my body language. Like I try to like stand up straight, like just fill in my seat enough that I'm not trying to hide. But in terms of my voice, I do start like lower than usual, like very, very calm, almost unbearably calm. So in that regard as well, I also I also like moderate my pace, my pacing. So I speak very, very slow. Um, but with a certain rhythm so that people feel that I'm not like stupid or something. It's just like I'm moving forward at a nice pace, but I'm speaking much slower than I would. And I think that the great advantage that I have is because when I'm teaching like lower levels, I can naturally find a pacing that I know I can communicate like chunks of the language. Like an idea, I just split it very naturally into chunks and I pause. So I'll do that in Spanish as well. Now I've noticed, or in English if the meeting is in English. Mm,
Mhm.
so I get what you're saying, and I'll be feeding that back to you. Um,
Thank you. I
if it's a
appreciate.
mistake, it'll be immediately, and maybe after a longer chunk, if it has something to do with your pacing or just noticing your register going higher, I'll let you know. I mean, in case you haven't noticed already.
Mainly the pronunciation and the vocabulary, because the other thing, as you said, because if we are in this flow of conversation,
Hmm.
maybe we can have, as you used to do it, like the feedback at the end. But if
Hmm.
it's something like very informal, like, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
notice that as you started low and then you are getting high.
Mm,
Are
and
you ready for the? Oh, no,
yeah, I'm
no,
ready.
finish and then we
No, just let me
no,
say
no,
very
finish
quickly.
and then we dive into the gossip.
I don't think you heard me because when you were going into the elevator, um, you said I'm something like I'm gonna lose you,
Hmm.
um, where it's lose.
Mm,
So right after you finished, like you left like I don't know if it was actual an actual silence on your part or the audio cut, and I just said lose, but because I didn't hear anything. I don't know if you
mm.
got that.
I lost you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you lost me. Hmm.
I lost you. There
All
are
right.
there are verbs such as lose, meet, and I can choose, in which I don't know why. Even though I'm aware that lose, choose, and meet, the infinitive is with the vocal duplicated,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and
exactly.
the participle is met, uh, chose, and lost.
Hmm.
I I always confuse them, always, always, and I'm
Hmm.
aware of that. And there is this word that loose, lose, is like suelto, like put loose, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Loose, loose.
But with one O or double O.
It's double O. So
Okay.
there, your only lifeline, so to speak, is the consonant sound of the S. So lose is perder,
Okay.
and then loose is como flojo o suelto.
Oh, okay. So, but lose the
Hmm.
perder
Hmm.
is with E as well.
Yeah, but also loose. So they're
So,
spelt exactly the same.
okay. Okay,
Loose.
it's exactly the same.
Ah, no es cierto, ¿verdad?
But
A ver, let me write that
I,
down.
I thought it was with one
Loose.
O.
Lose is with one O. Yeah, you're correct. Lose is with one O. Loose is with double O. Hmm.
So lose the perder is with double O,
Hmm.
and lose the flojo suelto is with
Hmm.
one O.
Hmm.
Lost
Correct.
is the past participle of lose, and it's lose, lost. Lo do you remember these three columns?
Yeah,
Lose,
yeah.
lost, lost,
Lose, lost,
lost.
lost.
Uh-huh. Lost,
So
lost,
both with T.
lost.
And you're
Lose,
probably
lost,
thinking
lost.
the same as I. There is yet a third word, which is loss, Loss. That is not a
But that
verb.
is noun. That's perdida.
That's a noun. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That, you're right. That's the other word I was trying to find.
hmm
Mm. Let's the
All right.
let's dive or delve.
Let's dive. hmm
Let's dive into the gossip.
I mean, I'm
This
thinking
was.
it's dive because we're going to go into some detail. hmm
Could you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes. Message to
This is
MAEM students.
this is the reply from Chris Link, the head program.
Okay. So you sent the email at the end, and this is their reply. Is that correct? Or
But
am I missing
the
something?
the the VPA didn't reply.
Ah, okay.
Chris is the one who replied. But
And
we
Chris
are
is the.
head program.
Okay. Okay.
So he used to be our professor, and then he and Tony Boydell was the head program. Now he is the head program, and Tony Boydell is the director of the School of Sustainability. And many of my classmates
Uh-huh.
believe that. Well, I also think so that uh, someone in the higher ranks called Chris,
Uh-huh.
and what is this about?
Uh-huh.
Take
Uh-huh.
care of that. We are not engaging.
Uh-huh.
So Chris sent this like, what do you mean?
Uh-huh.
Obviously, and many of well, you will see the messages. Many
Okay,
were
okay.
like, we told you that we should be more explicit, and
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
I don't I can't understand how obtuse they are. Do you really think they don't know what this is about? They
Mm-hmm,
want
mm-hmm.
us to set the constraints. Okay, you said that this is about this topic, and we are not going any further. We are
Mm-hmm.
not going beyond the boundaries or the constraints on the topic you wanted to do,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because that gives them the leverage to prepare a bureaucratic official response.
Sure, sure.
But they well, I will show you the right controls. So this obviously is Safa. She
Okay, we're saying.
she she wants everyone to participate. They don't know what they're talking about. Can you imagine 44 people in a Zoom meeting trying to engage
Yeah.
in warlike conversations?
Yeah.
The Chinese girl, and this is the Brazilian. I'm starting to dislike.
Oh.
I told you we needed to be more specific. Dot. Chinga tu madre. That's what I should have thought. I think it would be nice to have an open meeting. Can you check with him if that's possible? If not, we can get you and the representative of cohort A. Thanks. I guess that this is thanks. I guess this another Chinese lady said, I guess the 8 students received the email last Friday because I replied to this and they were here.
Mhm.
So maybe they did, but that is exactly why I didn't want to be any specific. Could you please delay? Uh, Let me. Then Safa, they know exactly what and why. We wish to have a meeting with everyone involved, not merely the program head. he always conveying the voice of the masses.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, I mean, delete it next time if we don't want them to know. Mm, uh, this another Iranian girl. Hello, everyone. We don't want to meet with Chris, right? Uh, we have to meet with with the VP. We cannot
Hmm.
waste our time meeting with everyone individually. We need to speak with the person who has the most influence.
Sure.
They are very. I mean, what is why hasn't Putin recruit them to set the strategy for
Yes.
uh, how do you say conquering
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Conquering
conquering
to
Europe?
further expand the borders of the Great Mother Russia.
This she is from Sri Lanka and it's a very wise lady.
Okay.
Chris has Chris has copied all of them except students in his reply to Sergio. So I feel it's their collective approach, and Chris
Uh-huh.
being the contact point right now, we might have to take the first step. I didn't reply to this, but how do you say smart? Which works? The
Yeah,
brain?
probably the brain, because the other one, the glasses, can be interpreted various ways.
The email was sent. She's nice, but it's not very clever. The email was sent directly to Mr. Thompson. Why did Chris respond? But it is disrespectful. No, I copied him, and they told him. Okay, and this is a. She's very. I mean, I like her. She's
Hmm.
nice, but she's. She. It's complicated because she always gets too intense in discussions, like you and I,
Hmm.
but but sometimes when it is not the place and the time.
Right.
So
Okay. Okay. Got it.
I always tease her, telling her that in our very first course, I how do you say la cronometré? I registered the time.
Yeah, I timed her. I clocked her.
I clocked her, and she spent nearly 45 minutes talking about salmon. I
Okay.
mean, it wasn't that much, but it was like real. So the professor had to tell her, you know what, we need to move on, and there are other teams that need to take. And I always tease her with that, like, just please, Adriana, don't start talking about salmon.
Whatever you do.
But she's nice. Actually, she invited us to her birthday last Saturday.
Hmm. Okay.
And she said, I think it's important to take screenshots of everything, not to target someone, but to have proof that some of us had opportunities that should have give should have been given, right?
Very good. Yeah.
Uh, Aldo, Chris was on CC, obviously. When
Hmm.
all students are in an email and when the email is sent to the one person, they can't respond better. Okay, improve your English, lady.
Yes, I because I didn't really understand that.
But we asked to visit someone else.
Hmm. Hmm.
The problem with these two is that they are connationals from Safa, so he is the puppet master behind them.
Oh, okay, okay.
Uh,
They have allegiances toward
Legends
Safa.
toward his ingring. I don't know. That's Iran would be.
I'm not sure.
Well, I shouldn't say anything that might sound xenophobic or
Not out loud.
racist or discriminatory.
Uh-huh. Um,
Okay.
I told you we have an Indian national working at IH. He's the new English courses coordinator,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, I mean he's been there for a year now, if not more. Mm. But anyway, he's a cool guy. I don't like teasing him directly, but I know other teachers do. Like in his face, like as friends, right? So
Uh,
that dingy 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 thing is quite popular at IH for all the wrong reasons.
The
Yeah.
Bollywood. I love Bollywood. Have you seen the Thriller version, the
Oh no, no, no. Well,
Bollywood version of Thriller?
no, no, no. I've seen snippets of it, but I don't think like
Oh,
I've watched
we're
like the
gonna take a
full
minute to
video.
to see it. I understand, but the real animal was addressed to Mr. Thompson, and she should have responded.
And he should respond. Well, yeah, responded, I guess. He can still respond if he wanted to.
But Mr.
Um,
Thompson is a she, not a he. One
oh,
question:
really?
if you use should respond,
hmm
is respond. But if you use have should have responded, right?
hmm Yeah,
When you
because you're
use the
conjugated.
auxiliary,
Yeah,
you have to use the participle. The participle.
correct. When you use the auxiliary have, you have to use the participle.
And you can use had as an auxiliary. I just had no. You can't use had as an auxiliary, only as a verb, right?
You can use have and had, like the present and the past, both as auxiliaries, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to
So
form the
I,
perfect
I
forms in the present and in the past as well. The past perfect,
had.
for example.
Could you give me an example
hmm
when you use had?
Had, so both as an auxiliary and a verb. Um, I,
They
so
might
for example,
never. Uh-huh.
uh, they might know. I had, um, I had suspicions about our Chinese colleagues even before this happened, or
Okay.
even by
It's not.
last year.
I.
Yes, I had suspicions, but if you want to send it further in the past, maybe beyond a past incident, you can use had. Like
Okay.
saying like, yes, there was something
Yo ya había tenido.
exactamente. Like there's something fishy going on for the past few months because they were doing their online course. But even before that, maybe at the start of the program when we first met, something about them. Yeah, so you could say
Hence, I
I
had
had.
had my suspicions about them.
Uh-huh. Or I had
Okay.
had my suspicions about them since the beginning. So
Okay.
to say before we knew about everything, even before they started doing their express courses, or when you guys approach to say if there's any way to accelerate. Yeah. So
Okay.
the had just sends it further in the past. There has to be like an incident or an event that you can use as a point of reference in the past, and then whatever happened before that is had.
Okay. Okay. If because if it is in the present, you use have.
You use have. If it's in the more recent past, you
Or
use
just
had.
past simple.
I mean, yes, it just depends on what you're trying to convey.
Like I had my suspicions. Yo tenía mis dudas, but now I am positive, and now I'm sure. I had my suspicions,
Exactly, yes.
but now I'm sure.
Because the
I.
past
Uh,
simple refers to a finished action, right? I
mhm.
slept or I overslept. You're no longer sleeping. I had my suspicions. I no longer have them. They've been confirmed.
So I had my suspicions. Now I don't have them. I'm sure about it. Now I have had my suspicions, uh,
And I still
the,
have them. And I still have
and I
them.
still have them. I
hmm
have had. He tenido sospechas, but they're still there. So I had, tuve.
hmm
That is done. I no
Exactly.
longer have them. I
hmm
no longer have them. I have had. he
Yep.
tenido, and that's still happening. It's like so continuous and present perfect are somehow correlated.
The They
Ah,
cover
yes,
different
because I'm
aspects of,
having suspicious is
yeah, I'm
this
having
moment
suspicious. Yeah.
that action started and it's ongoing.
Hmm. Yes, it's
I
ongoing.
have had
I have
what
had the difference
uh,
with the continuous form and the perfect form is that we can say the continuous form is unfinished,
mhm,
ongoing. The perfect, however, refers to a connection between a past event and the
okay.
present, where usually we see or describe the effects of that past event in the present. So when you say I have been to Toronto, there's no ongoing unfinished relationship with you and Toronto.
It's
It's
just a
just like
fact.
it's just like in the present, now I have the experience of being in Toronto in the past. So that singular past event now generates a band, like an invisible band that connects to the present. We're saying I have the experience of being in Toronto.
Hmm.
So that's I think that's a good example of the continuous versus the um, perfect. Continuous is ongoing, unfinished. The perfect is just the effects of the past in the present.
Do you think once we finish with the gossip, we can
Yeah, 100%.
address that in a more illustrative way? You know these timelines.
Yeah, yeah. The 100%. Yeah, I can draw a timeline for the perfect forms. We can compare them to the continuous,
Okay.
and then
Um,
if there's no headaches, we can show the perfect continuous, which is like a mixed
okay, that's a
form.
little more complicated.
I mean, it just requires you to fully understand perfect and continuous separately before combining them.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
I understand Berlin man, Chris and Heller on his behalf. He should
Uh-huh.
respond, or Chris can say he answered on his behalf. Well, that's she has a point there.
Hmm.
I spoke with one of my friends from last year, and he mentioned that one of his friends had an issue with his completion, not
Completion.
completion letter.
Completion.
After a lot of follow-up, he decided to consult a lawyer. The lawyer indicated that they were going to sue the school for the entire tuition fee. As a result, he received his completion letter sooner than the others.
Huh.
Dear Nidani, this would just be playing along with their game. I personally believe we should ask again for a meeting for a meeting with the university
Hmm.
head and the vice president
Correct.
because he was probably told because he was probably told to do so. Here would it be because he might have probably been told to do so,
Um,
or this works
that
because
works.
this is speculative. No, so here's he was probably told to do so. It's like okay, maybe, but if
Hmm.
I would have used like because he might have probably been told.
Right. Except that you you can do without the probably at that point. It just becomes redundant. He might have
Because
been
of the
told
might.
to do so. Yes. He might have been
So,
told to
but
do so.
this works as well.
I mean, yeah, it works as well to convey the meaning. He was probably told to do so.
But the might have would be more accurate.
Well, it actually it actually depends on what that individual thinks.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it might be more of a fact of English where he's just using like, um, well, he's not using modals the way he should. But it can also change and still be correct depending on what the person thinks. If I'm just speculating or without any evidence, I just think that that's what happened, then that might could be he could be may could be must. Like if I'm positive, like I know how they work. A cousin studied here years ago. He could say because he must have been told to do so, and that would still be correct. There would be no way to um, there would be no way to assess him unless we know what the contents of his mind is. If he had, like a masterful command of the of English.
Well, he has. He's actually he was 14 years English professor.
Okay.
Not not you can have him for a snack, not even breakfast, but he was an English professor.
All right.
I want to,
Mm-hmm.
if you please, uh,
Yeah.
could could you please write down commitment and will, because I need to ask you a question about that.
Okay. I'll write down those two words and we can get
Okay.
back to that.
Okay. We need, with more clarification, why have the students been left out in the response to Dear Sergio? This is a discussion between the students and the university, not Sergio and the university. Deliberately, because we said that I am talking on your behalf, stupid. Deliberately deleting one side of the argument concerning Sergio and the main recipient of the email not
Ah,
responding and someone else responding instead of is
is
insulting.
insulting. And it says cornering, Sergio, like putting you into a corner.
Cornering. Okay, so I took my time. Uh, I felt that Safa calls me and then records my conversations, but I'm always transparent, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me unpin this. Um, this is what I wrote.
Let me. There it is. I want to take a moment to clarify a few points and address some recent comments to ensure we continue working collaboratively and effectively. First, all the suggestions, contributions, and comments I've made throughout this process have been with the genuine intention of benefiting us all. As a member of this group, I'm entitled to express my opinions and share my perspective, but I want to emphasize that they have always been just that, proposals. The decisions made were ultimately collective. At no point have I imposed anything. To avoid any misunderstandings, let me reiterate that my role is solely that of a messenger. I have been entrusted to transmit the decisions and agreements of the group, and I will continue to do so faithfully. That said, I will also continue to share my personal views, whether in agreement or disagreement, because I believe honest dialogue strengthens our collective efforts. However, I will always respect the will of the majority. In that same spirit, I would like to kindly encourage everyone to ensure that any feedback or comments shared are constructive and help move the discussion forward. Comments that focus on finding solutions or contributing ideas are far more valuable to our collective efforts than those that revisit past disagreements or personal stances. Our success depends on collaboration and constructive input. Okay, our success depends on collaboration, and constructive input is key to achieving that. Finally, I ask that once there's a consensus on what response we want to provide to the head program or on the date we want for the meeting, you let me know and I will promptly transmit the message. I will, of course, share my input on any drafts or decisions, but I will continue to respect the group's majority decision. Thank you for understanding. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on how to proceed. Yeah, okay.
Two questions here. I obviously use ChatGPT, so this no
Hmm.
point at no point have I imposed anything. This construction, I understand it. I wouldn't know how to use it. I feel
Hmm.
it's too high level. I'm not sure. It's like should this opportunity arises? I feel it's like
Yeah,
that level,
okay.
but you will let me know.
It's
And the other
what
one,
we call an inversion. That's why it looks weird.
okay, at no point I have imposed. So have I imposed, but it's just for emphasis, right?
Yes, it's to emphasize the at no point to saying like you're already saying
Ah,
no, I
okay.
didn't, but if you put that at the beginning of the sentence, it hits you like a brick in the head. I
But
mean,
that's
just
this is
linguistically.
what you always refer about breaking the rules because
Exactly, because
have I? It's a question.
it's the question form. It's not the affirmative form, nor is it the negative, for that matter. So
So
it's like someone else will see it and say, but this is wrong, and yet it isn't. It's a
it's
permitted way of breaking the rules to
to
emphasize
emphasize.
something that will not appear naturally at the beginning of a sentence. So we force it into the beginning of the sentence.
Okay, and then I know we have addressed this, but honestly, I have
Yeah, no problem.
forgotten or forget it.
I have forgotten it. Yeah. No,
I
forgetting
have
is a
for
key part of learning. Like you can't actually
okay.
say you've learned something if you haven't forgotten it before.
So I have forgotten it. I have forgotten it.
Hmm.
To achieving
That.
is
Okay.
to without an infinitive. It's gerund here.
Ah, yes. Okay. So it says on constructive input, no es cierto. And constructive input is key to
To
achieving that.
achieving.
Is key to uh is key to
I
achieving
would
that.
say is he for achieving that, but I don't think ChatGPT makes that kind of mistakes.
No, it really doesn't make any type of grammatical mistakes. That's where it excels, is being it like a large language model. It just produces text that has already been produced in a way that statistically will make it like impossible in 2025 to make a grammar mistake because it's basing its text on all the text it's ever gathered. And even if there were, even if it was fed text with mistakes, just by adding all that up and going to like the common denominator, it automatically filters all the grammar mistakes or it,
Okay.
reconstructs all the grammar mistakes. So constructive input is key to doing that. I'm trying to remember what the grammar rule here is because there's a general rule that says that um, oh no, I mean that's what.
Let me see if I get it.
Okay, okay.
It is because
Oh shit.
the collocation of key is to key to.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
rule. So it's because you can say is key in achieving, is key for achieving, is
or
because the collocation is key to
yes, and we know that after any preposition, including to, we use the
goes an
gerund form,
ing, a gerund form.
and
So
only when to is not a preposition but forming the infinitive with to, only will then the verb stay in the infinitive form. But this is not an infinitive. This is just is key to.
I'm
Then.
I can feel your pride right now. I can feel how pride you are.
Well, I'm always excited. It always excites me.
I mean, for me, this
Yeah.
is a big deal. Being able to spot this, uh, knowing where I come from with regard to grammar. I
Hmm.
mean, this is a big deal. It's like,
Yeah,
look, Daddy, I did it by myself.
yeah. You did do. Okay.
Well,
Uh,
this was my first message, and then this was my next message.
okay. This is the most progress we can achieve at this stage. At the very least, someone's willing to sit down with us simply for a chaotic response. If you look closely, the program have could have just asked us to clarify our concerns and left it at that. Yes. However, they're open to meeting with us, which shows a willingness to engage. In my view, this is middle ground. While we initially aimed for a meeting with the vice president, we avoided being dismissed with a formal email reply. We must understand that in any negotiation, both sides have to make concessions. This is a step forward, an opportunity to present our concerns. If we don't see it this way, or if we feel we can be more assertive negotiators, that's fine as well. I am here to follow the majority's decisions. Personally, I think we shouldn't miss the opportunity. We should take the program head's offer and send a small delegation to the meeting. I don't think having both cohorts present would be productive, but again, this is only my opinion. Let me know what you think. I will proceed according to majority decisions. Okay.
Okay, before we continue, what do you think about my input? Was it too aggressive?
No, no, no. At no point. Really.
But it is
There's this
clear,
nice
like,
paragraph. Yeah.
uh,
There's this nice paragraph where it says, este, that the third one in the same spirit, in the same spirit. Uh-huh. Just saying like, stop with the BS. Let's focus on what really matters. And that was great. Um, Anything else? No, at no point do I think it was aggressive.
okay. And then this lady.
Uh, I have detailed questions for Chris. What made him approve the seven students' requests? Did they approach him any times? Okay, so inputting some questions, can you open the email for us? When were they? When were these students approved? How long did it take them to complete their blah 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 MRP or thesis? Were you were you their supervisor? When does the school provide their transcripts? When was their completion letter issued? Will the union offer them support, work recommendations? Will they attend the graduation ceremony? Okay. Do their completion certificates indicate blend? Ah, interesting. Or their online courses specifically online, or are there any difference compared with
This is a
us?
good one. This is a
Hmm.
good one. The number
Yeah.
10.
Hmm.
Here comes the wisdom of the village burner.
Is to assess how much we know. A ver, the purpose of Chris meeting us is to assess how much we know, what evidence we have, and make further decisions about how to put hush up this ordeal, and definitely not to answer our questions or provide us with evidence. Okay.
What does
Um,
this mean? Hush
Hush
up
is
this.
like try to silence it.
Okay, but hush up
Hush.
is the
Well, hush up is
the
the really nice way of saying shut up.
okay, that's good to know. Hush up. And ordeal. What is ordeal?
Ordeal is any type of concerning challenge, problem.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think you can reply to Chris telling him what happened and saying we want a meeting with the provost and him to follow up the issue we discussed last year and that the university did not honor. Another thing, make sure you don't go alone. We must have at least another student with you. We need witnesses. Sure. Okay, I'm out. Not involved discussion anymore. Good luck for you guys. Okay, so that's your end responding to Zafa. Okay.
No, I'm briefing here.
I'm sharing the following answer. The cohort A. Does Chris want to meet us individually? Should both cohorts meet with him together? Suggestion from Michelle.
Rusa
Spoke
is
with
the students, ay, ¿cómo se dice? Sindicato?
um, the
Union.
union. Yeah, I use this word often. Uh, who suggested sending an email to Papa with timelines and background information? This will allow executives and board members to attend our potential meeting. Observe the issue and support us obtaining answers. Let me know how you would like to respond. I'll be replying to Chris directly as a matter of courtesy since he addressed his message to me personally. I'll acknowledge his message, let him know that I have passed it along to the group and inform him that once we have a collective response, I will share it with him. I also want to clarify that I will not attend any meeting or send a collective response with the group's agreement. Please let me know once there's a clear consensus on how to proceed. Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay,
okay, okay.
okay. Oh, is that it?
And is that it? So
Okay, so that's from
nothing
last
is
night.
going to happen. Yes, for yesterday. From yesterday. Nothing is gonna happen, but
Hmm.
I don't want to. Ah, look. But you can let me share my screen with you. Share, share.
Ah, is that the response?
Mhm. Finally.
Ok, qué bueno que les gustó, a pesar de la oscuridad. Gracias por el entre hoy y mañana contacto de referencias y les voy a avisar. Ok, wow,
Bueno,
wow.
ya por lo menos.
Ujú,
Este, ¿qué iba a decir? Ah, ok. The reason why I asked you to write commitment and will is because I'm
ujú.
gonna share an anecdote with you that has no relation to whatever we we talk or
Ok,
we're whatever we have always whatever we have ever discussed.
ok.
But I remember listening this phrase and I was like, oh wow, that's a very wise way of saying it. So
Ajá,
there was this issue with a niece of my uh, she's not my direct cousin, but she's niece of on the side of the family of my uncle's wife, my aunt, but
ujú,
my uncle is brother of my mom. Then my aunt, his wife had a sister. The sister passed away, and they somehow adopted the sister's her sister's daughters. Not
ok, ok,
legally, but they take
ok.
care of them of her. And one of these girls ran away with the boyfriend. She's fine, but we thought, imagine it was when in the Estado de Mexico,
Mm,
girls were being kidnapped, and found dead.
right,
So that
sure.
was a scandal in the family. But well, she's fine now. The point is that at the time, my uncle didn't know whether or not she was alive.
Hmm.
He had a phone call with my aunt, my second mom, my other aunt,
Yeah.
with his sister, and he said something that I was like, oh. He said, tengo el compromiso, pero no la voluntad. He was so worried and so pissed off because it was his responsibility. She was still underage.
Ujú, ujú.
An underage or an underaged.
You have to, you can use both, but you use a or you don't. So she is underaged with ed. So use it as an adjective. Or if you use that as a noun, you would have to say she is underage.
Okay. She was still underaged.
Yes, correct.
So he said this like if we I don't know, they had already found her. And he said, I have tengo el compromiso, like I'm not no las voy a dejar, pero yo no
Hmm.
tengo la voluntad, como ya lo hago más por el commitment. So I've ever thought if in the translation to English it's straightforward, commitment and will, or if there's
Sure.
another, or if there's a, or if there is a better way of saying it, because I get what he was saying, but I kept wonder, and this was many years ago, but I that phrase I always kept wonder if there would be a more accurate way to express like to express like to express what you are feeling. For instance, I'm still taking care of them, but now I'm just doing it not out of pity, not out of um, mercy. No, or pity would be more adequate than mercy. Yes,
So you're not doing it out of pity rather than mercy. Yeah.
or pity. I have the commitment, but before this event, I was like, okay, I want to do it. Now I no longer want to do it, but I'm still committed in doing it because I know it's not my responsibility. But it's a more complex issue because they have a dad, but he's a bueno para nada. What do you
Hmm.
say? Good for nothing.
Yeah, good for nothing.
So, do you think there's a better way to convey this? The I have the commitment nor the will.
I can only think of two more words, and probably one of them works nicely. It's commitment and will.
Mm,
So will could be the
I give you
intent,
the screen back to you.
yeah, and resolve. Now, let's look for these two words and see if they fit in nice or as nicely as I think they could. I'm going to go directly to resolve. Um, to solve or end a problem or difficulty. No, this is el verbo. I want to look for the noun. A strong determination. Um, so the reason I like resolve is because it's C2 and it's not just the determination, but a strong determination. So I think by using resolve, it humanizes it a little bit. So it
But
doesn't
but
it
what would
doesn't
be the difference between resolve and will?
the emphasis on strong. So if you
Resolve is a strong will.
a strong will. So
Okay.
I think that, and you can decide not to use it, but I think that here it humanizes is it your uncle then?
Hmm.
Based on
My uncle.
saying like, it's not that I don't, it's not that I'm not, it's not that I have no empathy. It's just like, uh, and here's where these come into play. Like this whole thing has tested my will or has weakened my will. So while intent and resolve are synonyms, I like using, or I think that resolve works nicely
Intent
because,
and resolve are synonyms.
yeah.
Okay.
So like the intention, but
Mhm.
I like resolve because of the strong determination. Once you say I don't have the resolve, it means that you didn't stop caring, but
¿Cómo estás? Perdón.
so yeah,
Sí, pero no, no, paso, adelante, adelante.
I have the commitment,
Ok.
but I lack the
Yo a
resolve.
las 11 concluyo y voy a hacer tareas, así es que si quieres nos vemos. Es mi clase de inglés.
I have the commitment, but I
Sí,
lack the
bueno, y
resolve.
para practicar, pero principalmente para hacer. A huevo, mira, con los chinos. Sí, si quieres, a las 11 nos... ¿Vas a estar aquí al lado? Órale. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah. So something like this. I have the commitment, but I lack the resolve.
Where is the... Give me one moment.
Mm. Ah, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
So I have the commitment, but not the resolve. Okay, that conveys more accurately the what my uncle was trying to say, right?
I think so. I think so because if you say I lack the will, mm, it almost feels like he stopped caring. Where if you say the resolve, it can refer to fatigue, to exhaustion, to maybe some sort of frustration. So I think to a certain degree, it humanizes the whole thing, where someone might say, or how could you not do everything in your power? How could you not day and night be outside looking for your daughter or adoptive daughter? So because saying I don't have the will is like I don't want to. Resolve is saying is I am fatigued, I am frustrated. This is
Mhm.
way over my head. Or actually saying I have done everything in my power and it's time to move on.
But this is if we were to, so there are different layers. If you are doing a simple, straightforward translation with no context or without context,
Without
is
context.
commitment and will. That would
Yeah,
be like
commitment and will.
at at a higher, in a next layer in which you have context, but an objective context, you would say the same works, commitment and will. But if you have a meta context in which you are trying to actually convey the feeling because you listened, 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 listen. How
Listened,
do you,
yeah.
but en
Listened.
pasado,
Yeah,
listened,
listened with a D
listened.
sound.
You
Hmm.
listened to this person and you get the feeling. So it's no longer just about the words.
Yeah, exactly. It's more about conveying uh, an emotional standing point, like an emotional POV,
So
like where
we're
I
talking
am
about three
emotionally in all
layers of
this.
translations. In the only at the upper layer, we are using, we are still only at the upper layer we are using resolve rather than will. But commitment works in this for the three levels,
Hmm.
or as the word
Ah,
willing evolved to
fantastic
resolve.
question. Yes, I
Is there a
would then.
word?
Yes, I
Uh-huh.
would then use something like duty. I have the duty, but I like the resolve. Because commitment is like saying, oh, we told her parents that we would take care of her. Uh-huh. But it feels like there's a huge gap in between like a promise and actually doing it despite the promise. Like, I love this child or this woman, young woman, I guess. Uh-huh. So, duty,
Well, maybe, but maybe he has a commitment with my aunt
uh-huh.
because
Okay, that would
they
be
are the
fair.
niece on his wife's side.
Uh-huh.
Because a duty, how would you use? But duty feels like something in, I don't know how to say, but
Uh-huh.
it's nothing being imposed. It's not something being externally imposed, but rather internally. Like I
Yes.
know I I I committed
Mm-hmm.
to this, and
Yeah.
I'm still in. I'm still. I will still fulfill that commitment,
Uh-huh.
but out of resolve. No, not no, but with a lack or resolvedness. I would say.
With a lack of resolve. Well, resolve is the noun, so you
Okay,
can
resolve.
use it directly. Yes. So a
So
commitment.
I don't get how duty works here.
Okay. Well, I think it also depends because I could propose duty and you could actually by feeding me more context say, well, no, it doesn't reflect the reality of my uncle. So again, commitment would be an external responsibility. Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, I have to see for the well-being of this child because that is what I promised my wife or my sister. You have to draw up the family tree.
the
Mhm.
the tree. How do you say the family tree?
Yeah, the family tree. Um, I propose duty, and it will work only if it reflects the reality. Duty feels more like an internal or a universal type of responsibility, where even if I handshook with a person, if that person died, the commitment would then lack foundation, but the duty would always be there.
Mm.
So duty is a bit more
Could
either
you repeat that?
internal. Yeah, yeah.
The commitment
A
would lack
commitment
foundation.
would lack foundation. For example, if the person who I promised to do something died, well, it's like, well, I'm free, I guess, from that.
Ah, okay, okay. But the duty,
But the duty, yes, is something that could perdure beyond any commitment, because either it is internal or it is a more universal responsibility, where it not
okay.
depends on your boss or your partner, but it almost like society depends on you doing that job.
Does duty and will overlap somehow or not?
Um, no, I don't think so, because you can
Okay.
still have this idea. And I'll put
Oh,
you
no,
a
no,
very
not in
different
this
context.
context.
Uh-huh.
In linguistically, I mean, the reason why I'm
Oh,
asking is because
commitment and will. No.
so you no duty and will. So can you fulfill a duty without will? No, right?
Can you fulfill a duty without will? Oof, crap. The philosophical questions. Commit? Can you fulfill a duty without will?
Well,
Mm,
first of all,
mhm.
does fulfill duty collocates with each other,
I'm not
or
sure. I've
deliver or comply or
no, no, no. I mean, if anything, it would be fulfill. ¿Cómo se llama esta madre? Collocation.
collocation? I mean, the
Um,
reason why I'm asking this because maybe
carry out,
will.
do, fulfill, meet, perform. Very good. Fulfill collocates perfectly.
So you cannot, if you have this commitment, and since it's a commitment, you may or may not have the will, but you will deliver
Uh-huh, he will
what you
deliver.
deliver what you committed to,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. What
Once there
your
is
mhm.
a lack of foundation for that commitment, what remains in you is the duty. So
I mean,
now,
it could be the case. It could be the case. Um, because a person could just say, well, now that I'm free from this commitment, I will no longer honor it because there's no one, because it's external, there's no one to actually require me to do it. So both can be
but
true. Commitment
there
is
is
over. I have nothing
when
to
the
do here.
willing gets into place. So
Okay.
you could have committed
Hmm.
committed
Interesting.
it,
A ver.
or committed.
No, you could have
You
committed.
could have committed. You could
Mhm.
have committed to something, and because you committed to it, you will do it. But you may do it without of the will of doing it, just because. Okay, I committed to it. I promised. I will. I'm a man of my word, and I will do it. But
Mhm.
out of will,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
the foundation for that committed is no longer there, and now you feel the duty. So if the commitment, ¿cómo se dice? Se convierte. Uh, it's not
Becomes.
evolved. Becomes. If the committed transforms,
Mhm.
would that work?
Transforms into.
If the commitment transforms into duty,
Mhm.
that transformation can only happen if you have the will to fulfill or to fulfill the commitment. Hence, now it's a duty, right?
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes. Um,
But I don't know if that makes sense or if I'm using the words improperly.
no, no, no. You're using them correctly. Um, you're
Mm,
using them correctly.
and
I
the point
think that,
where I'm trying to head to, or where I'm trying to head to, to head
mhm,
to,
where I'm trying to head towards. Ah, no.
ah,
Sí, por eso, head to. Yeah.
sure. But it's in order to avoid repeating to, can I say
Towards. Yes.
towards? So the point where I'm trying to head towards is if from the so we have three layers. The foundation one is the basic translation,
Hmm.
commitment, and will. The second layer could be the duty and the will, and the third layer could be the duty and the resolve, right?
Hmm.
In this exercise. But could it be that on the third layer the willing could replace the duty and say, I have the willing, but I don't have the resolve? Would that convey more profoundly that this the place where he was coming from when saying that?
I don't think so, because in essence, he
Okay.
would be saying, I want to, but I don't want to do it that much.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
So the evolution could be like commitment, duty, will, duty, resolve.
Yeah. So using that same construction, the one I've just presented, it could be, I have to and I want to. Hmm.
Okay. Could
A
you
ver, a ver.
share your screen?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sharing it though.
No.
Um, all right. I'll put it in a box.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me see if this makes sense. So commitment would be, I have to and I will. Duty is, I have to, I want to, and I will. Duty and resolve is, I have to, I want to, and
I'm willing to,
and okay.
because it's a state of being.
Resolve is,
It's not I will, but I am willing to.
I will at any length. I will at any length. Or I will at, ¿cómo se dice? Whatever it takes.
Mm,
I will whatever it
so
takes.
I don't think that resolve would be the one, because I don't think what he was trying to say is whatever it takes. It's just I will do it, but I will
I
do
will do,
so.
I will do so, whatever it takes. Yes. So that's the simplest way I can think of to explain these. Um,
So I don't think it's now that you picture it like that. is
Hmm.
not resolved. Uh, is will, but now commitment. I have to and I will. Duty. I have to. I want to. No. So I think the most accurate translation would be just commitment and will because
Okay.
maybe he didn't want it to do it.
Hmm.
He didn't want. I
He
always
may
do the same.
maybe
I
he
always do the same.
maybe he didn't want to.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He no longer want to, but he was anyway. He was doing it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he how ¿cómo se dice? He assumed this responsibility,
Okay,
asumió
yeah.
esa responsabilidad, but
Hmm.
how do you say assume or assume?
No, he took on.
Took on. Ah,
Hmm.
okay. That's good because I always say assume. No, is this that comes from assumption maybe?
That comes from assumption. It
So,
also
¿cómo dices?
means like
Asumir es took on, take
take
on
on
es asumir.
in that context, because asumir would be, no es cierto. Assume would be suponer. Bueno, asumir, supongo. Ajá. Um,
Ah, pero no de yo asumo mi responsabilidad has a different meaning. Si yo
assume.
puedo asumir algo es una especulación, una presuposición. O
Ajá.
también puedes decir yo asumo mis responsabilidades, I take charge of
I take
this.
charge. Ajá. Mm,
But in
you
order
can.
to not, huh.
Mhm.
In English, what would be the difference?
Between take on
Ah, okay,
and
so en Spanish es asumo de especular y asumo de hacerme cargo. And in English is assume, speculate, take on, take charge of things. Does that work?
yeah. The thing is, the only thing I'm doubting is if assume responsibility is that, ¿cómo se dice? All right, okay. So you can use assume. Um, I just feel it's very strong. So I'm not 100% sure.
Let's take a look
You
because
can
I always
assume
say
like
that in English. Uh-huh. Hmm.
responsibility. Aquí está.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Assume.
To take or begin to have a responsibility, sometimes without the right to do so. Okay, ya,
Ah,
ya
but
entendí.
this is
So you assume responsibility for, I don't know.
without the right, but it's not without the obligation. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, yeah, without the obligation, right? Yeah, I guess that makes more sense if you say the obligation,
But
right? Like,
yes, yes, yes. Si dejas tus cosas aquí, yo no me hago responsable. I don't assume
uh,
responsibility.
yeah.
No estoy obligado a. Because right feels like more in Spanish. There are opposites. Well, not opposites.
Yeah.
Derecho y obligación.
Hmm.
You cannot. You do something because you have to. You do something because you want to. Derecho y
Hmm.
obligación. But in English, here in this context, right is used differently, right?
Yeah, because it doesn't make much sense to me. Well, first things
Let's
first,
make. Mhm.
assume responsibility is a collocation in itself
Okay.
and considered fair or morally acceptable.
No, but still don't think it's.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, no, I think we understand the meaning of right correctly. Yeah, no, no, no. I think there's nothing that we're missing here. Yeah,
So
no,
here
I think
was a pragmatic understanding rather than a semantic one.
probably so because sometimes without the right to do so. The thing is, with the examples, I cannot see how that comes into play. The buyer promises to assume responsibility for all shipping and transportation costs. Yeah, it's like when you're not supposed to. I'm trying to think. Assume responsibility. Like when his father died, Stefano assumed responsibility as head of the family. Besides taking the role of deputy head teacher, she also assumed responsibility for the school's finances. Yeah, okay. Well,
So
it makes
none
sense
of
to
these
me.
examples
Uh-huh.
take take or being
Begin, yes.
sorry, to take or begin to have responsibility. Sometimes without the right. But again, this raises a philosophical question. Is it without the right or without the obligation? Maybe without the right because okay, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now it wasn't. Uh, one of the examples that below. Could you please scroll
How
down?
about
It says
these?
Britain assumed
Hmm.
responsibility for the administration of the country. So they didn't have the right, but they still did, maybe.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that would
Uh,
be an example. Mm,
because when his father died, Stefano assumed responsibility as head of the family. That that could be the right. I mean, that's a more complex issue because you need to understand the family dynamics and the
sure, sure, sure.
social context and the culture. But besides taking the role of deputy head teacher, she also assumed help me here, assumed or assumed?
Both are correct. Assumed, and then the British would say assumed.
Assumed responsibility for the school finances. So she wasn't obliged to, but
Obliged to.
obliged obliged to,
Hmm.
but wow, this is making me dizzy. But anyway, so
Uh-huh.
I
But
feel we are following in the rabbit hole with the with that the word right because you agree with me that doesn't
yeah,
makes
yeah,
a
I
lot of
don't I
sense.
don't I don't know how that applies. Maybe it's like without the proper permission in this case and in this case. Um, but other examples I can think of, it's more like it's like the obligation, when a person says, "Well, um, I wasn't I can't even think of something. I'm just thinking of a small child breaking something and someone
But
trying to pay for it. But I'm there what comes into play is like the obligation, like
exactly not the right.
mhm. Yeah, like saying, "Well, it was no one's fault, but I am a loyal customer to this shop, so let me pay for this thing that broke." Hmm. So it's more like the obligation rather than the right.
Exactly, and the right.
Um,
Well, I will prevent you from sleeping while thinking about that. But if you want, we can use the remaining time for the timeline of the
mhm. Sure, sure, sure.
perfect
Yeah,
and continuous.
that would be great. Because I haven't used my whiteboard in so long. So how do I start the whiteboard?
Oh, I remember that was the very first tool I came to known
I came to
came to
know.
know when the Zoom hype began.
Uh-huh.
Empezadas began, right?
Yeah, well, the Zoom
The
hype
Zoom.
began.
Mhm.
So the first thing
Oh,
we need,
it has evolved.
yeah, it has.
It looks nicer now.
Well, there's a timeline. There's a line.
Mhm.
Here is the shoot. Here is the present. Uh, Why is it different now? Oh, the line. Okay. Here's the present. So let's write now. And here's the past. Shoot. I'm getting confused using this. Here's the past. So what we're trying to figure out is how to use hmm, present continuous and present
All the perfect forms.
perfect. All right. So we need the squiggly lines and some color. Mm, when we use the present perfect, sorry, let's use a present continuous. That's an easy thing. Um, what we
Can you
call the
see what I'm
continuous
doing?
form, you're moving around the screen, yes.
Okay, no. So if I have a question, I can tell you, okay, this Carlos, you
What
can see it.
about that? Yes. And I could say,
Okay,
well, the past
but
refers to.
which tool should I use in order to not alter what you are drawing?
Um,
Uh, this one, can you see my cursor?
yeah, I can see your cursor.
Okay, I will use that, but I won't click, so I don't alter
Okay, I
what you're
see.
doing.
Yeah, yeah. So you can move around. Um, you can move around.
Okay, okay.
So let's think of an action. Um, study
Hmm.
English.
Well, we can use the same example, the about the gossip we have been discussing.
It was it
The
something
lady
like,
that had suspicions.
okay,
Ah, well, no, no. You create that. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿A ti se te ocurrió?
uh-huh.
You came up
You
with.
you came up with that.
You came up with the. I have my suspicions.
Okay.
Well, whichever works best that can be used across
Yeah.
the timeline.
Okay. Mm, let me change. Let me change that just a bit. Hmm. Um. Well, I don't like this example because it's a little bit subjective. But I'm hearing rumors. Hmm.
Okay.
So actually, the base verb would be hear rumors. Okay.
Mhm.
So if this is something, so let me draw even more lines. So today's
Sure.
Tuesday,
While
right?
you are drawing, I was thinking, uh, the mo the most accurate form for the present would be the continuous, right? Because if you use the present, like I hear rumors, is like it lacks many context. It or
Yeah, it's so wide that
uh
one person might think like, well, that's your day to day. If you study at this university, you will hear rumors.
or no,
So,
or even a simpler example, right?
hmm.
As
Uh-huh.
I run, okay,
Uh-huh, yeah.
you run what, when, how, or I am running. Okay, in my present,
Hmm.
in this moment, I am running.
Yeah.
If you don't add another layer of context, so I run. Okay, yes, but on a regular basis, so that doesn't work. I feel that for the present, that
Uh-huh.
it's unuseful. It's worthless. I run. No, I'm running because you need to add context. You normally need to add context, or you are responding. What's the difference between reply, respond, and answer?
Reply
Well, you are
is in text form.
okay.
Uh,
Respond and answer would be the same.
and yeah, it would be the same.
Okay,
Or
so I'm
respond is more high
responding.
level.
Okay, I'm responding an answer. So I either give more context or respond to an answer. But because if I only say I run, I hear rumors, uh, or I am running, I'm hearing rumors. Uh, Still, between the continuous and the present, the continuous feels more like in your present,
Uh-huh.
like but both are lacking, are both are missing context. It doesn't allow you to.
Why didn't it? I just want a simple.
I
También
feel
me
that you have
pendejé.
to let it go. One
Okay, so
line
let
and
me
then another one and then
stop
another
right
one.
there. I'll stop right there. Okay, perfect. Okay. Anyway, so I heard a rumor on Wednesday. I heard a rumor on Friday. I heard a rumor on Monday. I heard a rumor today, Tuesday. So,
I
um,
hear rumors. That's a repeated action.
well, in this case, rather,
Mhm.
uh, I need to put this like somewhere else. So,
Sorry, well, I move. If I
mhm,
move, oh, so, sorry. This is amazing. So we are actually collaborating. Oh, wow.
yeah. Um, but no, I don't think you did anything wrong. So this would be I'm hearing rumors. Hmm. I'm hearing rumors. Actually, I want to try to be as accurate as possible. Let me see if I can undo something. Yes. Hmm. Ahí
Mm-hmm.
está. So in red we have the rumors. Let me use a different color
Mm-hmm.
for I'm hearing. Okay. So from Monday to now, I'm hearing rumors. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Now, of a simple one, another simple one, and I'll use green for this, is I heard a rumor, and that would be in green. I heard a rumor.
Mm-hmm. And where is I hear rumors?
Okay, let's try I hear rumors. Let me just underline this. I heard a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you asked for I hear rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hear rumors would be something like, I hear. Maybe the problem is that this gets a little bit abstract.
Yes, that is what I was about to say because, for instance, I heard a rumor. You could also say, I have heard a rumor.
Yes, yes.
So, would it be safe to say that it's just about the formality rather than the accuracy in spotting the moment of time when the action happened? In this case, I heard a rumor conveys the same meaning as I have heard a rumor. What I have heard is more formal. I don't remember
Ah,
when or
okay, okay.
what,
Yes.
but I saw a TikTok of someone saying, uh, if if you use the present perfect, you demonstrate that you are using a more formal, high level of English because past English is more informal. It may convey the same meaning, but it's just more informal. So it's to my point. Would it be more about the formal, informal, rather than the precision or the accuracy in the on the where the action took place in that moment, a specific moment of time?
Mm, no, it does have to do with precision. And I've
Okay,
while you were talking, I figured it out. It was something very obvious. I heard a rumor on Wednesday. That's how the past simple works. Past simple is the
okay,
most precise of putting, a dot there on the timeline.
okay,
And when
okay.
you
That makes
say I've
sense.
heard a rumor, mhm, it doesn't really matter when you heard it. The only thing that matters is that I too heard something. So if we're talking, maybe each color doesn't represent a different grammatical form, but it represents a person from your group having a different experience, or a different point of view of similar experiences, if not exactly the same experiences. So someone says, I heard a rumor on Wednesday, and that's the only rumor I heard. Mhm. Um, I've heard a rumor in this scenario. This person
So,
means I also too have that experience. You have that experience. I have
but
that experience.
without the precision on time.
Yeah, without the precision in time. I know I now have this experience. Y bueno, este podría decir I heard rumors because he heard one on Monday and another one on Friday. hmm
Mhm.
I now have this experience. I can participate in this chat.
And you can only assume you can only assume
Yeah, you
that
can only assume.
it it happened in the past, but you cannot tell when exactly happened.
Exactly. You cannot, maybe they don't remember. I've heard rumors
Hmm.
as well. hmm
Hmm.
Was it on Wednesday? I don't know. It was last week, but yeah. So I now have this experience.
So I
So
guess that I'm hearing it started in the past and it's still going
it's still
on.
going. It's still going. And that was the one in blue. I heard one yesterday. I heard two today. Something's happening. I'm hearing rumors.
Now it makes sense with the lines.
This person
So
said, I heard a rumor on Wednesday.
I
This
heard a
person
rumor on
said,
Wednesday is here. This
yeah,
one here.
exactly. hmm
I've heard rumors, okay, in the past,
Uh-huh.
but I've heard rumors. Why is in the present?
Ah, okay, yeah. No,
It won't be
I was
only
trying to
here.
emphasize I was trying to emphasize the last part, which says,
Oh,
I
okay,
now have this experience.
okay. So I've
But
heard
yeah, he didn't
rumors.
hear anything on today.
Okay, and then I'm hearing rumors. Okay, it started in the past, but it's still going.
It's still going, and I might
Okay.
even give it a bit more life just to emphasize the now.
Do you
So,
have to leave at one?
no, I can say for a bit longer.
Okay, may I?
12,
Me estoy
1. Yeah.
orinando desde hace una hora.
Yeah,
Déjame
go
agua.
ahead. I'll try to write up a new answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
A ver, ahí va. I'm hearing rumors. I heard a rumor. I've heard rumors. Um,
La manito.
I had heard rumors.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear you, yes.
Oh wow, this the Bluetooth 5.0 is crazy. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, so yeah, have a look at this. I've added a fourth one. I had heard rumors. I had heard rumors. So these people, three people are discussing. Um, One person says, I'm hearing rumors. Another one says, well, actually, I heard something before you did. I heard a rumor on Wednesday. And a third one says, I too have experienced this. The same thing that you have experienced. I've heard rumors. When? I can't remember. The fourth person arrives and says, well, even before any of you heard the rumors, because the oldest rumor is from Wednesday, this person says, I had heard rumors since December. Okay. So the
But
the
there is a
point of
gap, an
yeah,
important gap
there's a
here.
gap. Yeah.
For
Because
the have, I had heard rumors. Okay, I stopped hearing rumors, and
mhm.
then the rumors arose again. So this gap, it's what makes you the to use the have,
Yeah,
right?
the gap between Wednesday specifically, the gap between
Hmm.
Wednesday and December.
Hmm.
So any point before Wednesday, because that's the oldest rumor, where the oldest rumor came from. This person actually heard something before the break. Um, I had heard rumors since December, or I had heard rumors before Wednesday, and now too I have this experience. Now, it doesn't matter if he didn't hear anything before after that, and it doesn't matter if he did. So it doesn't matter if he heard something in December and then something yesterday. It doesn't change the I had heard. What's most important is that I had heard rumors before Wednesday. No, es cierto. That contradicts it. Sorry about that. What would be more accurate is that it doesn't matter how many rumors he heard, as long as all of them were before Wednesday. So I had
The
heard
experience is
rumors.
there,
Experience is there. So he might have heard the least rumors. He might have heard the most rumors. Doesn't matter. The point here is
but
that he heard them before anyone else did.
again, as with almost everything, without
hmm
the context, it wouldn't make sense any of this
No,
because
none of it.
I had heard rumors how far in the past because there's no an objective rule to say, oh, if it's
Mm-mm.
over 3 weeks, you should use
Yeah.
have, but if it's only 20 days, you use have. No,
Mhm.
so it depends on the context and
It depends on the context. And in this context, ay, ¿por qué está así eso? This context is Wednesday. So everything stems from when the oldest rumor came, Wednesday. So yes, it's not objective, it's relative. It's always relative to something. And in this case, Wednesday is the oldest point in the past. So we're going to say that Wednesday is our starting point.
okay, so now let me try to figure out how the present continuous would be here in this sample. So obviously it would be I have been hearing rumors, but it feels natural to assume I feel very uncomfortable with that word.
But you're
It
using
feels
it correctly,
natural
yeah.
to assume that the word since should come after the continuous. So
Uh-huh.
I have been hearing since. So you have to use the since to specify the point of time
Hmm.
in order to give context, because if not, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Am I right?
That's correct. That's correct. So I've been hearing
So,
rumors since.
and then you can say since December, since January, since Monday, since
Hmm.
Sunday, since, and I'm still hearing them till now.
Correct. Yes. So,
So, in order to use the present perfect continuous, you have to establish the starting point and that action is still going in the present.
mhm. So this particular person, this fifth person, heard a
Mhm.
rumor on Wednesday, nothing on Thursday. Heard a rumor on Friday, then had a happy weekend, came back on Monday, heard another rumor, and today heard yet another rumor. So this person has heard the most rumors out of all of them.
And
And
now
mhm.
we can use another color for a sixth person that might that could say, I have been hearing rumors since November.
Aha, exactly, perfect. And then it stopped completely for him. Hmm.
It
So let
stopped.
me, yeah, it stopped for him. So let me add November.
Why it stopped? Because if it's I have been hearing,
Hmm.
so it started before the previously established latest point in the past.
Hmm. Which in this
So
case
we
was
we
December.
December. So we had established, or is that okay? Is it okay to say preset it?
Preceded, yes. It
No, but
precedes
that
the,
no, but it's not preset. It's pre-established. No, no, se preestableció. So
okay, the pre-established.
we pre-established. So there has to be a pre-established. This past perfect continuous goes farther in the
Hmm.
past than the previously established farthest point in the past. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. So,
So if December weren't or wasn't, if December wasn't in the equation,
uh-huh.
how do you say?
Equation.
Equation. If December wasn't in the equation, the farthest pre-established point in the past would be Wednesday, and
Correct.
anything
Before Wednesday.
before Wednesday would be have been hearing.
Hmm. Correct, yes. I had been hearing.
Okay.
I had been hearing. But as any other past form, because
Mhm.
you're using had, in this case with the present continuous, I had been hearing rumors. I had been hearing rumors in November.
Since.
No, because you're using had, it's already finished. So from this sixth person's perspective, it was
Ah,
happening, it seemed to be accumulating towards something, and then it stopped.
so even though it's continuous,
It's continuous in the
what holds
past.
it's continuous in the past. So what
Hmm.
holds more power is the had than the ing.
Yes, because the let's say the continuous form is subordinate to the had.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I have been hearing rumors in November. Yo había estado escuchando. I had been
And
hearing rumors in November.
technically, it's the same thing for the I had heard rumors because he only heard them in December. In the present, he has the experience. hmm
So let's tackle this. What would be the difference then?
the difference in the perception, you as a listener would be like, or sorry, from the speaker would be the man in purple uh, maybe didn't find a significant link um, between them, or not something that would, startle him or make him pay more attention. So it in his mind, it's like, I heard this person say something. That's right. I also heard that woman say something. I hadn't thought about that. And there was a third rumor. But the difference in perspective, I had been hearing rumors. It feels like a lot of them, or at least this person made direct connections between all of them to make it more significant. So graphically, so there's no, so it's much clearer or more direct. Maybe the man in purple heard two rumors. The man in orange heard three rumors, and he heard them maybe all in the same week. hmm Whereas maybe the man in December, the purple man, heard them far in between.
But what would be mandatory for those two? So for using present perfect continuous, you
hmm
ought to use since for accuracy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you won't go you may not go to jail if you don't use it, but for the purpose of accuracy, you should use since for perfect continuous. But for past perfect continuous, just you have to at least establish the point in time
hmm
when the action happened and ended, like
Yeah,
in November.
in November.
But is still context dependent. I mean, could you use
hmm
the past perfect continuous? This is question.
hmm
Could you use past perfect continuous without the rest?
Um, I think the answer to that is you could, but what's the point then?
Mhm.
hmm
Without the
I'm
context.
without the context. Like in your mind, it makes sense because if you chose to say something in the past perfect continuous, there is reference points in your head, but no one outside you knows them. So it will leave the room a little bit weirded out. Like, what do you mean? When? hmm So, yes, you can use all of them without context, but it would defeat the purpose. hmm It would be it would be completely counterintuitive. Why not just say simple past?
Are we missing any?
Hmm, sure, but I mean, I don't know if all of them would be relevant because we're still missing the past continuous. Because you wouldn't say, I
Oh,
was hearing a rumor when I got a phone call. Like it could happen, but it would just be way too
ah,
specific. The
we're
continuous
still
form, yeah.
missing the past continuous. Where would that collocate?
Um, for example, let's think of, I heard a rumor on Wednesday. Ahí lo podemos utilizar para no crear más personajes. I was hearing a rumor on Wednesday. Ah, chinga.
It was here.
Ah, no es cierto. I heard a rumor on Wednesday. hmm
That finished. I
Uh-huh.
just
No,
that
we're going to
action finished.
continue that story. I heard a rumor on
Okay.
Wednesday. I was,
Something was happening while I was
hmm
hearing it.
uh-huh.
So the past continuous would be just to add more context.
Exactly, because the past continuous needs to be
It's
placed
just for
with the
context.
past tense or else it doesn't have any purpose. I got a phone call
Ah,
while
and then
I
someone,
was
okay.
¿cómo se dice? Eavesdropping, como cuando andaba ahí de chismoso, eavesdropping.
Mhm.
So I didn't get all the information, no? That's what I'm trying to say with that example sentence.
So is it safe to say, not as a dogma, but so past continuous is to expand the context of a point in the past that has already been established, and past perfect continuous can only be used if that point of reference in the past has already been established.
Has already been established, or you in that same sentence establish it. Because that's the same thing
No, no, yeah,
with,
it doesn't matter
yeah,
who, but it has to
it
be
has to be established.
established.
Yes.
So past continuous is to expand context, and past perfect continuous can only be used if there is a specific point on time in the past that has already been established.
Mhm.
It does is not so reliant on the context as past continuous is, but it is reliant on establishing a point on in time that has already happened in the past.
Mhm. Exactly. Yes,
Okay,
that is correct.
well, you will have to test me to see if I can
All
do
right.
this by myself.
Definitely. Let me download this because
Sure.
how do I download this? I haven't used this in exportar. Uh,
No, I have never used it, but I love that we can collaborate.
yeah, that'd be very
Do-
useful in a different context as well. Perfect. I have the
Maybe
timeline.
just a screenshot. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, I have it now. Because as soon as you close it, it disappears, and I've had to learn the tough way. Um, like I closed
Would
it,
the
shared.
AI save it for you? This?
That would be a great question. I mean, it's on video. It's on video,
Okay.
but
So do I need
um,
to share to save this? No. Okay, you already shared it.
yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
great. And the quality
Hey, that's pretty
is
good,
better than
right?
a single screenshot. Okay.
hmm It's pretty good, and it just
And
it actually
Google
just
Jamboard it's gonna be discontinued, and so I feel this
yeah,
took its
definitely.
place.
I used a lot of Google Jamboard during the pandemic. I really liked it. Yeah, that and there's another one I really like, Flipboard or something like that, Flipgrid or something like that. I think that was like a Microsoft thing, and they discontinued it as well. So I'm only left with Padlet and this Zoom thing. Zoom seems very convenient. The more you use it, the more it pays off. It's just that, well, it's just I have to start using it more. All right then. So I'll see you tomorrow,
Sure.
right? At 12, is it? Is that your time at 12?
Um, yes, but if you can do it earlier, let me know.
Okay, sure, I
You know
can.
that from 8:40 I'm available. I mean,
Okay.
I still have ya me estoy despidiendo, Carla. I still have lots of um homework to do, which I
Mhm.
was planning to do right now.
Well, Carlos can
Uh,
help you with that.
but but as soon as you can, we can connect.
All right.
Um,
Awesome.
I didn't share with you, but I've been using ChatGPT just with voice commands, but not the voice version, but the dictate. But when you
Yeah, dictation. When you
dictation,
dictate.
and it's been very useful. I mean, like I have to do this homework, which
Mhm.
is just about sharing your thoughts. So I was like, I opened the mic and I first I fed it. If you have to go, I can tell you this later.
Yeah, yeah, I have to go now.
Okay, I
All right.
will share with you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good
Awesome.
one. Bye.
Bye.